Hi everyone, I'm Chuck and this is your Bozeman Public Safety Center update. Before we look at where we are, let's take a quick trip in the Wayback Machine and see just how far we've come. So the origins of the Bozeman Public Safety Center go way back to 2013, when we knew that we had to find space for our police, our courts, and our prosecution as we were outgrowing the Law and Justice Center on 19th Street. In order to find a place to build, we did a land exchange with the Montana Department of Transportation for their approximately 8 acres on Rouse Avenue. We traded them 13 acres out at the water reclamation facility and got this lot, this buildable lot for the Rouse Justice Center. We worked for a year on design of the Rouse Justice Center and put it before the voters in 2014. That $24 million project was not approved. We spent the next 2 years working with Gallatin County on a joint law enforcement and public safety building on their property on South 19th. That project included District Court, Justice Court, Municipal Court, Gallatin County Sheriff's Office, the Bozeman Police Department, County Attorney, and City Attorney. That was a $74 million project that was put before the voters in 2016. That project did not pass either. Looking at our options moving forward after the failure of the Joint Law and Justice Center, we went back to the Rouse site, added a fire station to the bones of the Rouse Justice Center, and created the Bozeman Public Safety Center. This 100,000 square foot building includes brand new Fire Station 1. It includes 3 municipal courts, brand new police station, services for prosecution, and victim services. It also has secured parking for the police department's fleet, a community room, and other joint areas in the building. The Bozeman Public Safety Center was a $40 million ask of the taxpayers, and that was approved in November of 2018. Upon its passage, we immediately got to work to finalize design, take what we knew back in 2014, update it, add a fire station to the project. So as you've probably heard, construction in Bozeman is expensive, and it gets more expensive every year. We had to apply a 6% construction inflation factor. So back when we asked the voters for the money, we had to roll forward the construction, the design of this project. And we went to bid this summer of 2020, and we're fortunate enough to receive bids that were within our budget. The time between the approval in November of 2018 and the summer of 2020, a highly dedicated team met regularly to finish the design of the building, to make sure that the building operated the way that we needed it to, that the community needed it to, and that we could take advantages of shared space between police, fire, courts, victim services, and the city attorney's office. In order to use the 8 acres we got in the land exchange, we had to demolish approximately 12 structures. We had to remove a bunch of decades-old use and development on the structure, and to work with the Montana Department of Transportation on some cleanup of the soils. So most of the buildings and the building materials were reused, recycled, or repurposed during demolition and preparation of the site for construction. We also reused the concrete, about 1,400 yards of concrete and 2,400 yards of asphalt. Rather than haul it off to the landfill, we crushed it and reused it on site for the building pads and the foundation. Several local nonprofits were very happy to receive some of the construction materials, and actually whole buildings were reused in other parts of the county. Being good stewards of our natural resources is important to this city. It's important to the commission and the staff, and was central to all the planning and construction here on site. All of our stormwater that's generated on this 8 acres will be treated here on this 8 acres and remain on site. We will not be discharging any stormwater to receiving streams or other stormwater systems. So site preparation included the installation of approximately 680 geopiers. A geopier is a 30-inch hole that's drilled in the soil. It goes down to the bedrock. And we took crushed concrete that we had, instead of haul it off to a landfill, we reused it on site. That got put down into the geopiers and rammed, created a structural base from which to lay our footings and our foundation walls on. So installation of the footings and the foundations required 85 tons of rebar and approximately 1,300 yards of concrete to build the foundation on which the Public Safety Center is going to stand. It's built to essential building standards, which means it's the highest level of construction, so that we can be assured that this building will stand through all natural disasters, including earthquakes, and will be a place that emergency services can be based out of when they're needed the most. The building so far has 65,000 feet of plumbing and electrical pipes and conduit. We've used 3,400 cubic yards of structural fill and 650 cubic yards of screened rock. And we're just getting started. Bozeman Public Safety Center, by the numbers, it's a 3-story, 100,000 square foot building. A lot's been happening on the site. Most of it's underground. All the footings and foundation forms for the buildings and the canopies have been installed. We installed the deep waste and vent piping. We've done all the concrete pours, including the footings, the walls, and the elevator foundations. We've installed all the electrical conduit that goes under the concrete slabs. We've installed a sub-slab vapor recovery system, which will ensure that anything in the soil will not make its way into the building. So what can we expect to see in the coming months? We're going to continue working with our partners on the project, on the technology that goes in here, the building security and access control. Plus we have state-of-the-art technology in our courtrooms, our police interview rooms. We're continuing to work with the police department, the fire department, courts, and prosecution on all of the office furniture that's going to go into this building, in the private offices, the public areas, and in the open office environments that we have. We'll also see structural steel show up on site, and we'll see the building go vertical. It'll be good to see the project come up out of the ground, start to take shape and form, and start to fill in. So we're looking forward to that part of the construction moving forward, and of course we'll provide another update as things change. Anybody that's interested in seeing the progress can log into the webcams. We have 2 webcams here on site, 24 hours a day. They show construction progress. We're also creating a time lapse of the building, so from day 1 all the way through its opening, we'll be able to look at the construction of this really important public safety asset for the city of Bozeman, Montana.